Now that Thanksgiving is over, it is time to get a jump start on our Christmas candy making. I have 3 recipes for you guys today, and these are all no-bake recipes and only use 4 ingredients or less. So these are great to have in your recipe stash to start making for Christmas time, and they also work great as gifts, and I have several packaging ideas to share with you guys today. Thank you for stopping by Lavender and Lace. I'm Alicia. Welcome back to my viewers that come and see me each week. And hello if you are new here. Thank you so much for stopping by today. And let's get started with these sweet treats. This is absolutely the easiest peanut butter fudge I have ever made. I had a friend share this idea with me several years ago on Facebook, actually. All you need for this is a 16-ounce vanilla icing and a 16-ounce creamy peanut butter. You will want to put your icing and your peanut butter both in a microwave safe bowl, and you will just want to microwave those until they are soft and easy to mix. I like to do my peanut butter for 30 seconds, stir that, and then do another 30 seconds. And the icing usually only takes one 30-second cycle in the microwave. You don't want these to be completely melted, or it will just take longer to set up your fudge. You could even try this with the chocolate peanut butter maybe, or a chocolate icing with a regular peanut butter. That will probably work out really good as well. And once you have your peanut butter and your icing both melted, you just want to combine those together in a bowl and mix those until it is mixed well and you don't see any more of the white color from your icing. You can make several batches of this at once and they set up super quick. This is a super fast and easy recipe, and my kids love this peanut butter fudge, so I like to make several of these at the same time and just keep them in the refrigerator during the Christmas holiday, and they can just grab a piece whenever they want to. And all of these ideas and recipes today also make great gifts, so be sure you stick with me to the end of the video, and I have several really cute packaging and gift ideas for each of these recipes. And you will want to line an 8x8 baking sheet with some aluminum foil, and I did spray mine just very lightly with some non-stick cooking spray. Just spread out your fudge mixture into your baking dish. Just spread that around until you get it in all of the areas of your baking dish. And once you have all that spread out into your baking dishes, you will just put that in the refrigerator until it is set up. It usually takes about 30 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. And then I like to use one of my bread knives and just cut slices. I like to cut smaller pieces of this because it is very rich, and you will just cut that out into those bite-sized pieces. And if you do those smaller sections, you will get a lot more from each batch of your fudge. And to store this until we are ready to serve or package this as gifts, I just put this in airtight containers and keep in the refrigerator. And Zoe loves peanut butter, so she knew we had peanut butter something that day we were making fudge, and she was really wanting to snack on that. I think we gave her some peanut butter a little bit later on that day. So just seal your container and put that in the refrigerator, and you are set. This recipe is my favorite sweet treat for Christmas because it combines sweet and salty. You will just want to start boiling some water in a pot and set you a glass bowl on top of that. Just create a double boiler And for this, I used some dark chocolate and milk chocolate because that is what I had on hand. You could use just all dark or all milk for this if you want to. And I used about 1.5 packages. And I also added some Gulf wax there in the beginning to my glass bowl. That just helps your chocolate to set up and be shiny and look nicer on your candies when you finish these. And then I just covered a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I covered that with some pretzels until I had everything filled. And I also unwrapped several of these Werther's Chewy Caramels. Just cut those in half and got them ready to place on each of my pretzels. We are making the chocolate caramel pretzel bites. Then you just take one piece of your caramel and add that to each of your pretzels until you have all of those covered. And in the meantime, I did have my oven preheating to 250 degrees. You just want to have a low temperature so you don't burn your pretzels, but you want your caramels to melt. Just add those to your oven, and this took about 5 to 7 minutes for me to get my caramels melted. And this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. Don't those look amazing? They taste so good. I love these. I did let these cool for about 5 minutes once I took them out of the oven, and then I put them in the refrigerator for another 5 minutes just to let that caramel set up. And in the meantime, my chocolate and my wax had melted and combined. And this is ready to dip all of your pretzels in. So Gracelyn was my sous chef to make these little candies, so she helped dip some of these. So you just dip those into the chocolate and you can cover them as much as you want to. We try to cover all of that caramel up. And while that chocolate is still soft and a little melty, we add just some sprinkles on there to give that a little bit more color and look festive for Christmas time. So this one is usually my husband's favorite, so he requests this every year. I just started this recipe with a package of gluten-free Oreos. I put those in a food processor. You just want something to pulse these down and make those into crumbs so they are easy to mix and combine with your cream cheese that I will be adding in just a minute. And my food processor decided not to work for me this day, so I actually had to switch to our Ninja blender that we have. It worked just as well for this, so if you don't have a food processor, you can totally use a blender, or I've even used like a little hand crusher, just whatever that you have on hand to make your cookies into crumbs. And then I just added 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese to that had been softening for a couple of hours. You just want to mix that until everything is combined well and you don't have any lumps of cookie or any big chunks of your cream cheese. And I just added mine to a larger mixing bowl because I did several batches of these Oreo truffles on this day. Just put everything into a bowl. And that also helps you see if you have everything mixed well or not, and then you can just do any additional mixing that you need to. And I just took another one of my cookie sheets for this recipe and covered that with some wax paper. Wax paper and aluminum foil for your Christmas cookies, treats, candies, all of that just makes for easier cleanup. And then you just want to pinch off a small amount of your, we'll call it your cookie dough here, and just roll that into truffles. We try to keep these about 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter and keep those as uniform as possible. Just roll out all of your dough until you have everything on your cookie sheet. And I use white chocolate chips for this, and for the batches that I did, I used 3 packages of cookies, so I did 2 bags of white chocolate chips and 1 full bar of that Gulf wax that you can use for candy making. This is a food grade wax. And if you don't want to use that wax, I did do some research and found out that you can use coconut oil as well for your candy making and things like that. But if you do use that, just remember that it will give your candies kind of a coconut flavor. And I had been letting my truffles set up in the freezer for about 30 minutes while my chocolate was melting. And then I just started dipping those into that chocolate. And I like to use a fork for this, it just makes that easier. And I decided to double dip my truffles this year. You can kind of see the difference there. Just the one dip is a little bit lighter, and then you just get a little bit better coverage if you double dip that with your white chocolate. And to store these, I just put those in a gallon freezer bag and keep those in the freezer until we are ready to eat these with all of our other Christmas treats or add them to our little goodie bags. You can find a lot of different choices for your candy packaging at the Dollar General, Walmart, even Dollar Tree. I found these glass ones with those kind of Tupperware lids at the Dollar General store. This smaller one was $3, and they did have a larger one for $5. So just be sure that you shop around and see what you can find that will be the best for your budget. And I love to use these for packaging for all of my candy treats and things that I have made. I just like to give these as gifts at Christmas time. And I also found a couple of different designs of mason jars at the Dollar General and a couple of these ceramic ramekins as well. And be sure that you check there quite often, because a lot of times during the Christmas season they will have a lot of these things on sale, so just pick those up when you find them. And I just like to add some of that paper shred to whatever container that I am using and just add my treats in there. And I like to have several of these pre-made and on hand, and I like to keep those in the refrigerator, and that's just an easy way to grab those out and give them to our delivery men and women, because they are working so hard for us this time of year. And I also like to use these little cellophane bags, and I either pick mine up at Walmart or Dollar Tree, just wherever I can find them the cheapest, and just add all of my treats to those. And like I said, I like to keep these in the refrigerator. These are just easy to grab and hand out whenever we receive a delivery that day during the Christmas season. So I love to make these sweet treats and have them and just give them as gifts. I think this is just a very special touch to your gift giving. It just means a lot to get something that you have taken the time to make, and just think of others during this Christmas season. Just puts a smile on their face. Be sure that you guys check the description box for that free printable recipe cards that I have for you there. And I also have a bonus recipe for you guys to check out. Do you have a favorite Christmas recipe that you make every year? If you do, I would love to know what that is, so please let me know in the comments. We have several that we do each year. It's just a tradition in our family, and it just wouldn't feel like Christmas time without those certain treats and cookies that we do. Please give today's video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. I hope you will consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And if you can find that hype button, click that as well. That would just really help my channel to grow. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next one.